Hello, everyone. So here's my update for today. I made it to day number two of no smoking weed. So I've made it past 48 hours at this point. So it's 1:15 p.m. and I quit a couple of days ago at noon. So it's about 49 hours. So this is the longest I've gone for a long time. And I know if I didn't make these videos and set accountability for myself, I definitely would have smoked by now, just based on history. Because I tried to quit many times. And I think in my first video, I mentioned the very next day I'm smoking again. Well, the truth is, a lot of the times, and most of the time, when I say, I'm going to quit this time, I'm going to quit right now. I end up smoking weed that same day, let alone the next day. So, um, and sometimes like it will be like, I'm quitting today. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm like, I changed my mind one more time. And that has been an ingrained pattern. So this one more time, this last time, that has been such an ingrained pattern that like even when I say I'm going to quit this time, like it just I wasn't following through. So 48 hours is a major accomplishment and milestone for me because even last night I came home from work. I worked a 3 to 11 p.m. shift at my nursing job, and it was pretty stressful. And so I know last night I was having some cravings, but I didn't have any around because, again, my first video I threw out all my weed. But if it was around, if I just had some in the house, I don't know if I would have made it through last night. Um, is there a whole lot of differences that I'm noticing? Not like a whole lot. I feel pretty much the same as I did a couple of days ago, except for, maybe some cravings last night and stuff like that. So overall, feel good. I do notice like one of the things about work is that there's a lot of like safety issues going on that's been going on for a while, but they just seem to be getting worse and worse, and nothing seems to be getting done about them. And I'm starting to get kind of riled up. I'm starting to put my foot down and start to actually make complaints and call out management and do reporting. And I won't get too far into it because it's kind of private information, the specifics, but I don't know if that has anything to do with me quitting weed. It is like taking that bold action, like enough is enough. I gotta like do something about it. I've heard, like weed tends to be like if I'm stressed, it's like okay, it just like it makes me not want to deal with things maybe as much. Or maybe I would have said enough is enough. Like I was already feeling that way, whether I was smoking weed or not, but yesterday was when I kind of said enough is enough and I started, sending emails, making phone calls and things like that about the situation, which, maybe it has something to do with me quitting weed and maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Like, there's just the extra kind of justice and I gotta do something about it and take action and stuff like that. So, it's hard to say, but either way, definitely making these videos have been helpful. I feel good about making it 48 hours. I'm going to open my app real quick. I kind of mentioned I use both the Grounded app and the Quit Weed app. Um, let's see. Yep, 2 days, 1 hour, and 19 minutes is how long it's been since I last smoked weed. I'm going to open the Quit Weed app because it kind of gives you a description of what's going on. So, for example, rapid eye movement, or your REM that happens during sleep, is suppressed by marijuana. So when you basically stop smoking weed, you tend to have a rebound effect. And they say that like kind of starts to peak at, 2 days in, I think. So far, I don't know. I mean, I've been having fairly vivid dreams last night, but nothing extremely different than usual. So I haven't noticed a whole lot of withdrawal, except for maybe some cravings last night, when I was stressed and things like that. But besides that, no other really like big major withdrawal symptoms, and REM hasn't been kind of rebounding a whole lot. Other things that, oh geez. So this app has ads, so I gotta wait for this ad to go to go through. Just a second. It's asking me to download Candy Crush. No thanks. Skip the video. It's not working. Okay. Let me look at this. So the things that this app tracks, actually, I'll show you a picture real quick. Um, let's share. Oh, get rid of this. Can you see my camera? My camera is on, but I don't see myself. Okay. Well, never mind. I'll just describe it. Headaches and fuzziness, cannabis metabolites below 50%, coughing, insomnia. So these are all the things that it tracks. So it's saying that headaches and fuzziness, it could be different for different people depending on how much you smoked and all of that stuff. But for example, it says on average it takes, 12 or 13 days. No, it looks like 14 days, 2 weeks for symptoms of headaches and fuzziness to kind of fade. And so what it's showing me is percentages of how long through these withdrawal symptoms I'd be going through. So no, I haven't really felt any headaches or fuzziness yet, but it's saying that I'm 14% through that 2 weeks. Another one is cannabis metabolites below 50%. It's saying after 2 weeks, 50% of THC and other cannabis metabolites have been flushed out of your body. So I'm 14% of the way to that outcome. Coughing, it's saying that if your main method was smoking, you may notice that you cough more frequently than normal for the first couple of weeks, um, because sources have shown that weed leaves more tar in the lungs than cigarettes and leaves harmful chemicals in the lungs that build up. The buildup of tar actually shuts down the motion of cilia, which is basically what helps move along, you know, the tar in your lungs. Like so, once the motion of cilia, it starts to kick up again. So basically, the buildup of tar shuts down the motion of cilia and causes inflammation in the pathways, prompting excess mucus production. But when you stop smoking weed, cilia gradually start functioning again, and they're kind of like little kind of things that sweep out, crap out of your lungs. Basically, it helps kind of filter and clear it out. So they start to function again after about a couple weeks, or like during the first, couple weeks. And so you'll notice that as it's bringing stuff out of the lungs, like trapped toxins and tar and stuff like that, more coughing. So that's an example of what I'm going through. And it's really like interesting looking at this. Like one of them, the longer term ones, is memory. So sharpness of mind returns, unconscious memory capacity returns, and that takes usually 2.5 months. So I'm 2% through that process of kind of restoring the memory centers in my brain, basically. Anger and irritability. This one says it's, I have 1 month and 25 days of that. So anger and irritability. I don't know if it's more than usual. I definitely was angry and irritable about the work situation, but I don't know if that has if any of extra irritability had to do with weed because I feel pretty good besides the work situation, honestly. Attention span. So they're saying like completely THC free takes usually like a month and 2 weeks, so a month and a half. And so it's showing that I am 4% through that. So showing these metrics and like I get really motivated by a sense of progress. So I know for myself, sometimes I'll get lost in a video game just simply because I see that sense of progress. And if the game's fun enough and entertaining, then that sense of progress really helps me move forward. So, when it comes to this, having that little gamification is a lot more helpful than just saying, hey, I'm just going to quit forever and just kind of blindly trust in the process. Having something to look at and seeing my progress visually and tangibly really helps. And it really helps too that it is tied to things that are actually happening, like the metabolites leaving. It actually has that sense of progress because, I have another app that counts the days, and yeah, you might be able to see a sense of progress. So the Grounded app, it shows that day one you have a seed. On day two, it's like a seed that starts to sprout, and then by the time you get to like month one, it starts to turn into a seedling. Month two, it starts to turn into like a little seed. So in the app, it shows a visual representation of the growth that you're going through. So that's helpful, but it's not that motivating in of itself. Oh, I made it 2 days now. Oh, now I made it 3 days, and this little tree icon's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like helpful to have that visual representation, but really what motivates me is these tangible, actual things that it's showing. Okay, it takes a month or 2 months for this withdrawal symptom or for THC to get out of your body, and you're 4% through that and you're 16% through this symptom and stuff like that. That really helps out. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I will keep updating on a daily basis. That's the plan anyway. I'll see you tomorrow.